Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Notch, and this is my testimony. It is true that being a Christian doesn't mean you have a storm free life. I have known Christ ever since I was a tiny little girl. I grew up in kids' church here in Victory Fort, and my mom gave me my first Bible when I was around 10 years old. This was a great privilege, but it doesn't mean that I didn't have any problems in life. In fact, it felt like life was full of them. When I was younger, I formed a really good relationship with my dad. Some would even say I was a daddy's girl. But things went downhill when one day we got into a fight when I found out that he was having another family. It hurt me so much. And the fight was so terrible that my mom made me and my siblings stay with her. Since then, I haven't had the same relationship that I had with my dad before. Being separated from him may have caused my deepest wounds. I was full of anger. I was angry at my mom for keeping me away from him. And I was even more angry at my dad for never getting me back. And I was also in pain because I heard that I was the cause of our family's downfall. I felt like everything was my fault, and I put myself down for it. And I tried coping with my anger and my pain by overachieving in school and burning myself out just trying to get the attention and recognition that I wanted from my family. But for some reason, what I did wasn't enough. But a few years ago, I went to boot camp for kids' church. And that was the first time I ever experienced Christ as my Lord and Savior. I was really touched by my experience there. So I decided to grow more in my faith. However, life didn't suddenly become rainbows and butterflies like how I feel like a lot of us here, expect life to be. I still had more problems. Years and years after, I reached a really low point in my life and I found out that my mom and my dad tried aborting me. Not only did I feel anger and pain, but this time, I felt lost. I questioned my identity and purpose. I felt like I wasn't meant to be living here on this earth. And I wanted to take away the pain, but I didn't even know how to anymore. My grades, my overachievements, they couldn't do anything. So I had no other choice but to turn to God. And so that's what I did. I started going to church more frequently. And that's when people from the Friday youth service reached out to me. I made friends that were able to help me grow in my relationship with Jesus. And eventually, I started one-to-one and learned more about Christ and who He really is in my life. That is a Father and a Savior. And when I gave Christ a chance, I was overwhelmed by the grace and love He overflowed me with. And in return, I started showing the same grace and love to others. I was able to forgive my mom and my dad, and even my siblings. And I now have closer and better relationships with them. And I never ever stop praying that they continue to grow more in their relationship with Christ. And most of all, I found my identity in Christ. I realized that abortion pill did not work on me for a reason. And I know that God created me for a greater purpose. And that purpose I will continue to live for. Life may not be a storm-free life. But when your life's foundation is in Christ, He will protect you from the storm. And most of all, He will overcome the floods. And last Friday, I was baptized as an act to publicly declare that I am a follower of Jesus. And I will continue to grow in Christ And this testimony, it's not the end. There's so much more testimonies to come. And I will continue to live in Christ's purpose for me.